What's going on, guys? Sun2 back again with yet another hardware review. Today, we take a step back from the old big boy consoles and move on to something handheld for a change. Now, this is the PSP 2000 made by Sony. Back in 2004, Sony wanted to get into the portable gaming market and compete with Nintendo, which was pretty much dominating the market back then. So they released a PSP. Now, back when it first launched, it was a bit fatter. It had a little more, it had some like hips back here where you could put your palms, and it was a bit thicker and a little bit heavier. They also had a mushier D-pad, and there's various improvements that they made to the 2000 model, and now they have moved on to the 3000 model, which has got some minor differences, which I will point out later on. Now, this particular PSP model, as you can see, is white. And when I bought this, I intended it, I bought it because it was white. This is the Star Wars bundle, but I did not know that the Darth Vader was painted on. I thought it was just a sticker that I could just peel off and just roll up and get rid of, because, I mean, sure, I like the Star Wars movies, but I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not like one of those raging, crazy Star Wars people, per se. So I wasn't too wild about that, but I learned to kind of deal with it. Now, obviously, if you look at a PlayStation controller, it's like my PS3 controller that I just picked up, the controls are identical, other than the fact that there's only one joystick, or more known as a joystick nub, and only 2 triggers instead of, as we all know and love, 4 triggers. Now, that has been kind of a pain in the ass for some controls, but it hasn't been too much of a big deal. You also got volume buttons down here. You have a brightness setting and a sound setting, and that sound button is either to mute the sound or to change the equalization when you have a pair of headphones plugged in, which I will also show later. Start and select, just like your normal, and speakers up here. The original 1000 had them down here and right there, as you can see. It also has the headphone jack, so you can listen to MP3s, and this is the first handheld to use any kind of optical disc kind of media, which is being slowly phased out, even though it will be supported. With the PSP Go, it is being slowly phased out, because the PSP Go does not support the UMD. UMD is what they were called. I think that stood for Universal Media Disc. And the only one that I have on hand, if I can get it out of the damn sleeve, there, sorry about that, is Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron, which actually came with the PSP. I've since sold all my other PSP games because I never really play it. I just kind of keep it, and if there's ever a game that comes along that I would like, then I would just run out and grab it. UMD slides in like so, and then you would just close it shut. And on the original PSP, it actually had a door that would eject. So let's actually go ahead and turn on the unit instead of just babbling with it off. Alright, there you go. And you can change your brightness setting and various things like themes. You can customize your wallpaper. Now, of course, whatever you want can be your background. Now, let's see if I can get the zoom just right. There we go. Oh, sorry, my ceiling light's kind of in the way. Okay, that's much better. Now, as you can see here, it's got an XMB, just like how the PS3 uses. This mainly started with the PSP, and then the PS3 basically adopted it. But here you have settings, photo, music, video, game category, network, and this recently added, which is PlayStation Network, and these later firmwares. So you can store, this is a multimedia handheld device, which makes it very handy for various things. Obviously in game, when we go ahead and, damn it, sorry about that. Go ahead and put in a game, the UMD icon will actually pop up underneath the game icon, and it will play a little beginning sequence, just like how PS3 games do. I put in the Star Wars game, obviously, as I showed you before, so and I will show a little bit of gameplay here nearing the end of the review. But also, as you can see, you got video category. I don't believe I have anything on here. No, I don't, but it'll just play back video. You got your music, and just, to give you an example. just some AC/DC or whatever, you know, play anything you have, obviously. And there's different equalizers. Whatever you think looks cool, you know. And then you can cycle through the songs just by pressing the trigger buttons. Anyway, on to picture category. Obviously, you can have any kind of pictures you want, and you can just like display them like so. You can also crop and chop them to fit. These are some screenshots from Need for Speed Pro Street, some of my cars that I just kind of saved on here. I also have a couple pictures on here from like older video reviews where I would need to show you guys something in a review or something. Now, see if we back out here, now you got your system update, and what I didn't show right away was up top here. I know it's a little dark, I'll switch on the lights again in a second, is a wireless switch. This uses wireless internet, and you can update the firmware using a wireless internet connection, and using its memory, they call them memory stick duos, I believe. It's kind of like the memory card in them. They're very small, and this little door kind of opens up here. And then what you would do, it's kind of hard to do this one-handed, actually. It just kind of retracts like that. It's kind of like a ballpoint pen or like a retractable pen. And as you see, I have a 1 gig stick only. Now they do come into up to 8 gig variants. And they're very thin, as you can see, and a lot of the early PS3s even supported kind of the insertion, and a lot of PCs do, so you can easily transfer data off and on using that. The PSPs can also communicate with each other wirelessly. And now back on to what I was saying before, is some differences. My friend just got a PSP 3000. He got the Gran Turismo handheld bundle. And some of the main differences I noticed, excuse me, were that the edges here are a little bit rounder. I'm sorry about that interruption. My dad had to decide to have a bitch fit real fast. It always seems like he does that when I'm making a video, but as I was saying, it doesn't matter. Is that the edges here are a little bit rounder, and also I noticed there's some indentations in some of the design here. It's just as thin. They were claiming that the screen was a little bit better on the 3000, and they were saying that, oh, you can see better when it's outside, easier, and all this and that, but it's just as ridiculously blurry, and you can't see anything when it's outside for the most part. Maybe there's a slight improvement. I didn't notice too much. And the ring on the back, the ring design is also a lot thinner, and for the most part, that's it. Now, it is a little bit nicer, I will admit. I think it looks a little cleaner. And I think it would definitely be worth it, especially since they're phasing out the 2000 models. But the 3000 model, I definitely would agree, looks a little bit nicer and sharper. So now that we're kind of running low on time, I guess I'll just kind of show you some gameplay here. Now, like I said before, this is Star Wars Renegade Squadron. And I'm going to have to figure out how the hell I'm going to do this. Okay. There we go. Just skip all that. Now, for those wondering, this is just like the Star Wars you know in the PS2 or any of the bigger consoles. Sorry, it's not focused very well, but the PlayStation's eye camera either snaps to full in focus or full out focus, which is a very piss poor design in my opinion, and I can never get it to focus in right. And you can customize your character in this game and everything. Now, I'm not too big on PSP handheld games, so you probably won't be seeing too many reviews from me, you know, but I don't even remember how to play this damn thing. What the hell? This is actually a cool game. I'm just not big into handheld gaming anymore, I guess. But for the most part, that's the PSP. If you don't have one, you've been living under a rock. No, I'm just kidding. You should definitely pick one up if you like handheld games. If you're not too big into handheld games, I maybe would even pass on it. I would even go that far to say that. But for the most part, it is a very good system, and definitely fun to own. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review, even though it was a little rough. I had some disruptions in the household, and there was a lot of background noise, so hopefully it didn't come up too much on the video. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, see ya.